Hey, Forge fans, it's the Forge Audio Network. This is your match in review. I'm Anthony Urciuoli, your host. Forge FC dropping points in Toronto. York United with a 1-0 win over Forge at York Lions Stadium. And before the game started, we went through our three keys to the match. Limiting quality chances was the first one, and Forge did it. I mean, they did a pretty good job. Really, there was a couple high danger opportunities for York. One of them resulted in a fantastic save from Tristan Henry, the Forge keeper. And the second opportunity that York got, they hit the back of the net. And those were the difference there. Now, Forge thought they had taken an early lead. That was one of the keys as well, scoring first. Forge thought they did. In fact, they did. I mean, if we're being honest, Campbell scored, flag went up for offside. You look at the replay, definitely not offside. And it was Campbell who was able to get behind the York defenders in the opening minute of the match. What a difference that would have made if that goal stood as it should. It did not. And the game remained tied until late in the 79th minute. It was Gutierrez with the strike, and that was all York needed. They would hang on for the win. Now, one of the other keys before the match for Forge was patient ball control again. I mean, they did it. Over 61% of the possession. They played the game they wanted to. There were a couple moments. York, first of all, I mean, York played well. They defended well. You look at that chance that Campbell had that resulted in the offside call, getting in behind. There weren't a lot of those kinds of opportunities for Forge throughout the match. York did a pretty good job at defending, and they were forced into making some difficult decisions on defense, and they chose correctly multiple times and thwarted a lot of opportunities for Forge. Shots at the end of the game here, 12-6 in favor of York. Those were attempts. Before the game, in our match day preview, we spoke about the fact that York takes a lot of shots. They far and away lead the league in shot attempts. And again, they doubled up Forge in shot attempts, 12-6. Shots on target, though, 6-2 in favor of York. Possession, over 61% for Forge, as I said. And also, I wrote this down here. It's a physical, intense match, a playoff-like match. In this one, and it showed on the stat sheet. 30 fouls over the 90 minutes, 7 yellow cards. It was York that conceded 19 of those fouls, and corners were 6-3 in favor of Forge. Forge head coach and technical director Bobby Smirniotis also presented with a yellow card in this match. And speaking of Coach Bobby, let's hear what he had to say post-game.
Yeah, it was an interesting match all around. I think, we've been off for a couple of weeks now. We started off great. Right at the beginning of the game, we've scored a goal. I think if we've seen it in a replay, which I have, it's a goal. That changes games right off the bat. And it's unfortunate that those things occur in games like that, because I think that changes the way things are played and go. And, we need to see that being a little bit better. Other than that, I think we've done a lot of good things in the match. We weren't under danger for most spells of the match. We controlled the match. We created a lot of good scenarios. We just couldn't get that last punch into the back of the net in that final third of the field. As the game went on, York sat a little bit deeper. And then they've had, one or two chances in the second half, and they've made good on one. And, then the game kind of changes, needs to open up in that last 15 minutes and starts becoming a little bit more entertaining with counterattacks happening on both sides of the field. We've played good football and we haven't come up with a result. Sometimes that's how it goes. But things that happened, like what happened in the first few minutes of the game, that needs to be taken care of.
Yeah, you mentioned that moment, and that was kind of something that seemed to play into your entire strategy in the game. Very direct approach to you guys, especially in the first half. Was that by design that you were looking to really get all those players, particularly with Kyle, playing further forward?
Yeah, well, we wanted to be a little bit quicker. We knew that for them, it's it's an exciting match for them. They're going to get on the ball a little bit to begin with. There wasn't a problem with that because it creates a lot of spaces in behind in that first 15 minutes. And I think, after that first 15-minute period, or in the first 15 minutes, we did some good stuff in hitting them in the spaces. But after that, I think we got into more of a rhythm and controlled the game in the way we wanted to do. So the guys, executed tactically what we were looking for. We just didn't get the goal. It's the hardest thing to get in football, and that's why when you get some of them in the game, they need to be whistled properly and go to midfield.
Any other questions in the room for Bobby? Robin.
I guess after last season where you were playing twice a week, almost minimum, what is it like this year as an advantage of just once a week and getting to think about it? Not assuming that a game gets canceled like Winnipeg, but just having more time to.
Oh, it's good. Sometimes you don't want too much time to overthink things. But the most important thing at the beginning of the year is rhythm. Teams need rhythm. Our rhythm kind of got cut off last week. But again, I was happy with a lot of parts of the football. I thought we could have been better in moments and in phases with the ball and just be sharper with our final moments in the final third. But okay, we'll take rest, and I'll answer that question at the end of the year. Which one is better?
All right. Any other questions in the room for Bobby before we go to Zoom? Nate, any questions on the Zoom portion?
Yeah, Anthony, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Coach. Sorry. Just talking to Tristan about it being kind of it was a physical game. It almost had kind of a playoff feel to it. Did you kind of feel that intensity at field level?
Yeah, I think there maybe were some hard tackles, but I think it's a normal game. I think this is the games you want to see. I think they worked very hard. They being York in this game, and they had to for a lot of the ball that we had in the movement. They had to make sure that they were shifting. But again, when we did it right, I thought we got out into situations, especially in the first half with Abu Sissoko on the right side. It was very easy for us to get out there and to initiate our attacks, and it became a little bit more balanced than how we did things in the second half from there. But for them, it was a game that they had to work very hard in York, and credit to them. They've done it, and they've taken their chance in the game, and they've gotten 3 points.
All right. Any just the way this game went, was there any consideration to being a short week and how you wanted to use the players?
No, you always plan for today. You don't plan for tomorrow because we don't know what's happening tomorrow, who gets injured in this game, and what happens. I've played a lot of games in the past with short rest. Rhythm is what we need. So we need to get going. There's a few guys maybe we considered in Ashton coming back from injury and just seeing how the game was going, whether it's a good game to get him in, knowing that we've got another 3 games coming up quick in succession. So you think of things like that, but on who you start and who you're getting the minutes, this is only good for everybody going forward.
So Forge believing they did what they needed to away from home. I mean, to dominate, at least in terms of possession, the way they did away from home at York was, that was the game plan, to control the match in that sense, and they did. It just didn't result in the win. Now, I mentioned the 12 shot attempts and 6 that hit the target for York. Tristan Henry was really good for Forge in this match. In fact, he was on the receiving end of a collision with De Rosario at one point, and he went down in a lot of pain. He received a little bit of treatment, and he ended up finishing the match and actually played very, very well. Let's hear what Tristan had to say post-match.
It was tough. Going on the road, I don't think we played all that bad. I just think it was just finishing our chance. And that would have changed the game probably, but yeah, it's tough.
Quick turnaround now for you guys. Obviously a busy couple weeks ahead. What lessons do you take out of this game, obviously going into the Canadian Championship League?
I think just watch video and see what we could have done better tonight. I think it's just fine-tuning the little things. And then, like I said up top, just finishing our chances and see what happens on Wednesday.
Chippy match. I think there was something like 30 fouls between the two sides. Did it feel like a rivalry match out there?
I mean, yeah, that's how they are. They try and make it chippy with tackles and talking and stuff like that, but that's just how they are, I guess.
Any other questions for Tristan in the room? Anything on Zoom, Nate?
Yeah, Anthony, go ahead.
Hey, Tristan. Just The collision there in front of the goal. Can you just maybe take us through what happened there?
The one with Di Rosario?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I just came out to clear the ball, and I don't know if he saw me or not, but he just took me out. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, and just again to go back to we're still kind of early in the season, but that had almost kind of a playoff type feel to it. The intensity is definitely ramped up. I mean, that's just a result of who you're playing.
Yeah, I think we've played each other so many times, and I guess you can kind of say that rivalry is there, the battle for Ontario, GTA, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's a little bit of that.
We talk about that rivalry between Forge and York. Martin Nash, coach at York United FC, had his first taste of the 905 Derby, and here's what he had to say about the intensity on the pitch post-match.
Yeah, you see that out there. A lot of guys that probably grew up playing against each other from the GTA, and a lot of fantastic talent from this area, all playing in the same field. So, looking for a bit of bragging rights every time they play. So I watched all the games on TV, being a coach in the league. So knew it was going to be a battle.
All right, so Forge dropping 3 points. They are now stuck on 4 points on the season with a 1-1-2 record in 4 matches. York United, huge 3 points for them. They move into second place in the table, 2 points back of first place Pacific. All right, Forge FC, a busy week ahead. Here's a tough loss for Forge and Forge fans, but there is some positive news ahead, and that is that we have 2 matches in Hamilton this week. Beginning Wednesday, May 11th at 7 o'clock, Forge home to Outremont in Canadian Championship preliminary round action. And then just 3 days later on Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock, Forge FC hosting Atletico Ottawa. That's going to do it for the match in review. Keep it locked to the Forge Audio Network. Plenty of content coming to you this week as we have 2 matches to tee up for you. And both matches are at home. I'll be there, and I hope to see you there.
We are the Forge, the mighty, mighty Forge.